All right, you know the scene. You're just chilling on the couch, everything's quiet, and then bam, your dog just explodes, barking like crazy at a totally empty corner. It's confusing, right? A little funny, maybe even a tiny bit creepy. So let's get into it. Let's solve this mystery of why our dogs seem to bark at absolutely nothing.
So what's the game plan? Well, first, we're going to uncover the big secret, and it's all about your dog's amazing super senses. After that, we'll jump into some really simple, effective training you can literally start today. And finally, we'll cover that super important question, when is it time to actually call the vet? Oh, and a little spoiler alert, it's probably not ghosts.
So yeah, we're calling this the Phantom Bark Mystery, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that classic moment every single dog owner has experienced. Your best buddy is on full alert, staring down a blank wall like it's the most interesting movie they've ever seen. You just have to wonder, what on earth is going on in that little head of theirs?
So, here's the million-dollar question. Are they seeing ghosts? Is something spooky going on? Or are they just sensing a whole world that we can't? A reality that's completely invisible to our human senses? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out.
Okay, the real answer, almost every single time, comes down to one thing. Your dog's incredible built-in superpowers. Seriously, they are living in a sensory world that is so much richer, so much more detailed than ours. And their senses, that's the key to cracking this whole mystery.
Let's start with hearing, because this is just wild. We humans, we top out at around 20,000 hertz. Okay, pretty good. But dogs, get this, they can hear all the way up to 65,000 hertz. So what does that mean? It means that silent little hum from your TV or your phone charger or a siren way off in the distance. To them, it's crystal clear. They're not barking at nothing. They're barking at sounds we literally can't even register.
And then there's their sense of smell, which is just mind-blowing. Look at this comparison. We have about 5 million scent receptors. Your dog, they can have up to 300 million. So that empty room they're barking in, to them it's like a library. It's full of stories, holding the scent of the mailman from 3 hours ago or a cat that walked by the window yesterday. They are reading an entire world with their nose that we're completely blind to.
You ever notice how this phantom barking seems to happen more at night? Well, there's a reason for that. They have this amazing feature in their eyes. It's called the tapetum lucidum. Think of it like a built-in set of night vision goggles. It acts like a mirror, bouncing light around so they can see with just a tiny fraction of the light that we need. So what looks like a totally dark, empty backyard to you, to them, it's alive with movement. It's a whole different world. Okay, so we've established their senses are basically superpowers. But believe it or not, that's not the whole story. We got to talk about the common behavioral triggers. Because it's not always about what they're hearing or smelling. Sometimes it's about what they're feeling. And really, it usually boils down to one of three things. Number one, just plain old boredom and pent-up energy. Number two, that powerful, natural instinct to guard their territory. And number three, genuine fear or anxiety, maybe from a strange noise they can hear, but you can't. You know the saying, right? A tired dog is a quiet dog. And it's so true. A bored dog is going to find their own entertainment. And yeah, that usually involves barking. They might just be yelling, "Hey, I'm bored over here. Give me something to do." And honestly, a good long walk or a fun puzzle toy can be the absolute best fix for those boredom barks. Okay, so now we get the why, but I know what you're thinking. That's great, but what do I actually do about it? Perfect question. Let's dive into a practical, hands-on training guide. These are things you can do right now to get a handle on the barking and bring a little peace back into your life. All right, your first move. And honestly, this is the most important rule of all. You have to stay calm. Your dog takes all its cues from you. If you start getting frantic and shouting, they don't hear stop. They hear, "Oh, awesome, the human is barking with me. This must be serious." Your calm energy is the absolute foundation for fixing this. Okay, so let's walk through this great little technique. It's called the quiet kennel exercise. Here's step one. Don't yell. Don't say a word. Just calmly walk over and step right in front of your dog, blocking whatever they're staring at. You physically break the line of sight. By doing that, you become the new focus. You're basically saying, "Hey, whatever that is, it's not important. I am." Now for step two, and listen, timing is absolutely everything here. You're going to use a simple command, something like quiet. The second, and I mean the second, they pause their barking, even just to take a breath, that's when you say your word in a calm, firm voice. You are marking that split second of silence. And finally, step three is all about redirecting and rewarding.
Once you have that moment of quiet, ask them for a simple behavior you know they can do, like sit. Then, give them a really good treat. Now here's the crucial part. Give them the treat away from whatever they were barking at. You lead them away from the spot. This teaches them that moving away and being quiet is the thing that earns the reward.
So a big question a lot of people have is, should I just ignore it? And the answer is, well, it depends. If it's clearly just attention-seeking barking, the hey, look at me kind, then yeah, ignoring it can actually work. But, and this is a big but, if the barking comes from real fear, pain, or anxiety, ignoring it is the worst thing you can do. It'll just escalate their stress. You really have to learn to read your dog's body language.
Okay, let's shift gears for a second to something really important. While most of this barking is behavioral, we have to talk about when it could be a flag for something medical. Any sudden, new change in your dog's behavior, especially if you have a senior dog, is something you should never, ever ignore.
So here's a quick mental checklist for you. Is the barking sudden and new? And is it happening along with other things like pacing around, seeming confused, maybe getting stuck in corners? Or have you noticed changes in their appetite or sleeping patterns? If you're nodding your head to any of these, it's definitely time to call the vet and get things checked out.
One of the most common medical reasons, particularly in our older dogs, is something called canine cognitive dysfunction, or CCD for short. The easiest way to think about it is that it's a lot like Alzheimer's in people. It can cause real confusion and disorientation, which leads directly to that strange behavior of just staring and barking at nothing.
This quote just brings us right back to the beginning, doesn't it? It perfectly sums up that feeling, that little jolt you get when you jump off the couch because your dog is going wild at an empty corner. It leaves you feeling confused and, maybe a little creeped out. But the cool thing is, now we know there's almost always a logical reason.
And hey, this isn't just some random advice I'm pulling out of thin air. It's backed by real science. The latest research from 2024 actually proved that a technique like the quiet kennel exercise works because it uses positive reinforcement. So rewarding your dog for being calm isn't just a nice idea, it's scientifically proven to be effective.
And we have to give a huge shout out to the source of all this great info, all this expert advice we've been talking about. It comes straight from the brilliant minds at the award-winning publication Doggozila magazine. And just to show you how powerful this is, check out this amazing statistic from that same study. They found that in a loud, stressful animal shelter, for every tiny 1% increase in staff rewarding quiet dogs, the total noise level dropped by a whopping 17 decibels. That's huge! It just proves the positive reinforcement isn't just a little trick, it's a game changer. So let's wrap this all up with one final thought. That barking at nothing, it's not nothing. It's never nothing. It is communication. Your dog is constantly telling you things about the world as they see, hear, and smell it. So the real question we should be asking ourselves is, are we listening to what they're really saying,